Good evening, welcome back, warm greetings. Hope all are well. Today we'll start with a short drill from Madhavan. Enjoy.
अभी एक सेकंड में एक सेकंड हुआ। एक सेकंड में सारी सभा जो भी जहाँ है वहाँ मन को एक ही संकल्प में स्थित करो। बाप और मैं परम धाम में अनादि ज्योति बिंदु स्वरूप परम धाम में बाप के साथ बैठ जाओ। अभी साकार में आ जाओ।
and back. The worldly perspective, it says that a little knowledge is dangerous, and Thomas Huxley makes a point. If a little knowledge is dangerous, where is the man who has so much as to be out of danger? And this beautiful drill, we need the one that is ocean of knowledge, or the one that is free. And yesterday in the retreat, it was pointed out there is no mirror, there's no clear mirror about who we really are in this world ordinarily. So body consciousness feels normal. And it was given the analogy of tight clothing, so that we're so accustomed to seeing ourselves as the gender or the identification, nationality and job, etc. So these drills to keep Paris awake and understanding and deepening this beyond the drama. It was mentioned it's like cleaning the slate, and it was mentioned to be unpolluted from the role. It may be quite rare, but it is like getting out of the whole web, and then we can interpret more clearly in the story. I like this emphasis yesterday, the signs of little stress or little sorrow, little offense. They're like, if we notice those, we are getting more attuned to paying attention to these body conscious signals, and then the signal is to come out. So we're looking forward to today. This really helps, isn't it? Shining light on the game, not underestimating the game, but also the beautiful truth of this, of the true self. So welcome, and handing over to Prashant.
Thank you, and hello and welcome. And nice this quote, that little knowledge. And it is a quote, a Lockic word, Huxley. But if you have this unlimited knowledge, we all along we are progressing. Little knowledge becomes a step towards the complete knowledge. But if someone has little knowledge and thinks it is the complete knowledge, then it is dangerous. And thank you for a quick summary of some of our discussions yesterday. Very important part in our discussion, the word body consciousness that is used, which is a nice word, but some of these words are used with a different meaning or broader meaning, poetically used. And we saw it is not just thinking I'm the body, but Baba uses the word dharma. Renounce your attachment to the body and bodily dharma, sometimes translated as a religion. But we are not just attached to the religion and the body. In that time when the word dharma is used, these are different, much broader, meaning was broader. And here we are understanding almost everything. We are caught in the story in a absurd level. We give this example sometimes. Someone is acting as camel and elephant in a drama. Mary is acting in the drama, camel and elephant. But if in time she was to not just create attachment to the camel and story, but she completely forgets her world, her parents, and even herself, and thinks she's the camel, and spends her whole life thinking she's a camel, taking offense why people don't like the camel's nose, and becomes a major reason for her sorrow and maybe excitements. It is like a life wasted, but there are penalties. That madness brings penalties. We do wrong things. Our body consciousness, that word that we are using, is for this state, where we cross the line in ignorance, but it reaches the extreme level. The darkness, extreme darkness, these are the words Baba uses. And we also saw that story is neutral. We don't say story is wrong. In Cinderella story, we don't say it is wrong, or ugly sister is wrong, ugly sister is bad. No, we need all the characters to make it a story. As a story, it is perfect story, perfect characters, complete and neutral. We see it as neutral. But this ignorance and our body consciousness, in unquestioned, it is not there is a body consciousness, and we don't even know that we are in this serious confusion. No, not 1% anyone is questioning this. If they were to they see that it is absurd, they would have made effort to change. But ordinarily, and you can talk to your university people, your government people, see how many want to create even 1 minute to look at this. So this body consciousness is absolutely supported by many factors. And one of the factor is our intellect. Stone intellect, absolutely, it is like a double lock. You are kept in that and you don't question it. What are the other factors that supports this body consciousness? Do you want to tell? Is there anything that keeps us in the body conscious state?
The nice brainstorming, attachment, the desires.
These are all signs of body consciousness and attachment, and that is part of body consciousness. But is there any actional factor that supports it? My body consciousness, just as we said, intellect absolutely supports this, stone intellect, because you can't see anything beyond the story with that stone intellect.
Getting a home and history. I was thinking the vision of others, the way people see us, and short-term benefit, short-term gain, rather than thinking long-term. Forgetfulness.
Yeah, the one factor, there all these factors may be there, but one factor is the society, and vision is an important part of this. But just the attitude of the society, they all see you as camel. No one is looking at Mary as Mary. Maybe they don't even know that Mary exists. All are in that darkness. But we have this very strong programming that crowd is always right. Crowd can never be wrong. So you absolutely follow the crowd if they are doing it. When some years ago, I'm talking here 20 years ago, in London there was a riot, and so the police system, there was no police because of that, and people were breaking into the shops and robbing things, and one person got arrested, and he tells the media that he never in his life thought of robbing a shop. Never in his life he had ever had this thought. He's a very sensible, respected person. But he saw that everyone is doing it. Everyone is free. They can just go into the shop and get what they like and go. Everyone was doing it. So he also went in to collect things, which he doesn't even need or use, and got caught and found himself in the court. But he was laughing at his behavior himself, the absurd what he was doing there. But this is what we all are doing. We all are in the downward spiral because of the crowd. Even as Brahmins, we are still in a body conscious mode because of the way society is. Their attitude towards us, you, and attitude towards each other, and their vision, and they are never wrong. Everyone is doing it. They can't be wrong. So it is nice theory. Soul, yes, and it is in the notes. Murli, yes, Baba is saying this. Consider yourself. And tomorrow we are hearing it again. But crowd is telling you something else. And just some of these factors. It is useful for us to be aware of it. Then we know, who should be my company. It is very, very useful thing. If I want to change this, then I may have to check, whose vision affects you and which company we should be. So right now, let us create a few minutes of attention. And our first step is we use the best intellect and best sight. Sight may help me to see things. If I'm using the divine sight, okay, it helps me to see the three words. But intellect helps me to understand what it means, understand the significance and the secrets. Like, for example, I may see a man, but intellect helps me to realize that this is my friend, or maybe my brother. Intellect helps me to interpret. But we sometimes use it synonymous. So here we are using the sight, light, intellect. We have the option to go for 100%. So there is no real reason why we should not see in full clarity, the way Baba says. And in full light, we are seeing that the physical world is no different to camel, elephant, and the dragon story. And that too, we used the image yesterday. It is in the form of the film, three-dimensional film. And film is made of images. Those images come, images go. Film means it is, the whole thing is empty. There is no one there, nothing there. There are images. Mouse comes, mouse goes. Cat comes, cat goes. So different. Prashant comes, Prashant goes. So there are these images, they come and go. In this empty world, we don't want to have yoga with that. For Paras, this is obvious. Patthar is fully deceived in it. He may be complaining and screaming and missing what the images are gone, but he is trapped. That is the absurdity of Patthar. Paras can see what is happening there, and he knows what is beyond that film. And beyond is the real world, world of the family. It is a complete civilization, the world behind. And this is the only world that matters. This is the world that exists. All we are doing is use Paras, use light, and in a second, we are in the world of God and world with God. Alokik. But for Paras, this is obvious. It is invisible traveler, invisible home for the ordinary person. And we are happy to use that terminology. But for Paras, it is vivid and obvious, normal and natural. World of complete silence, world of complete simplicity. All are in the image of tiny stars. World where everyone is noble. They need nothing from anywhere. Certainly they need nothing from that empty film. That film world, they are not going there with a begging bowl. Nor that film world can harm them. They know they are beyond harm, and they need nothing. Never a beggar, never a victim. That's why we use the word noble. All are like this. We also know that this environment helps the true self to become conscious. And for the true self, it is normal to be in the image of a point. It is normal that everyone here are divine beings. There is no trace of demon in this dimension. All are childlike, innocent, harmless, happy, carefree. And they are godlike. It's a region of love. Everyone is lovely, loving, and lucky forever. World with God, world of God. One who is the wisest and the highest. True self knows of the worthiness. He doesn't judge himself based on the story. He's forever worthy, worthy to belong to God, worthy to be loved by God. He also knows everyone is like this. All are worthy. All are noble and divine. He knows this eternal and original truth. They can forget, they can think they are the camel and they can go into full darkness, but they remain the same. Eternal truth is the same. And so that bodiless, they are egoless, they are viceless. Just having the right attitude towards the physical world, they become free from this whole department. They remain desireless, sorrowless, selfless. That's why beings of bliss and divine beings. Golden age is golden age because truth is golden. All are naturally divine. As we continue on our journey, we remember the extraordinary truth. We appreciate the beautiful truth of everyone. That the universe itself is positive. Thank you. I'm happy to hear some comments, thoughts. If there are any questions, or we go to the next.
So there aren't questions. There was a comment. So it's not so much being conscious of the body that's the problem, but working from this limited consciousness as it creates pain. It's almost like a disease itself and a trauma in itself. That's a comment.
Yeah, very true. It is like the drop of our consciousness. Yes.
So there aren't any other questions or comments just yet.
There's some things we saw yesterday, the images, some of the images we used. We represented body consciousness by this. As we give birth to this, we also need to be reminded our starting position is fully soul conscious. If I am the invisible traveler and not part of that film, at this moment, at this right now, here Prashant is talking, that whole scene, our gathering here, it is all happening in the film. And at the same time, the invisible and that invisible princess, they are involved watching this. They are the invisible observers. They are the invisible travelers. And very aware and very prepared that film may suddenly finish. Just like this computer and our transmission suddenly finishes. Someone presses the button in an exit or leave, that's end. Everyone is gone. Images are gone. Just the thoughts remain. Same happens here. And he is prepared. The invisible prince is prepared for this. That is represented by this image. We also saw at various times in the past, this is the world of the camel elephant film, camel elephant film. And we saw that 100% of sorrows in the world are because of this. 100% of desperations, desires are connected with this. 100% of vices are connected with this. 100% of ego are connected with this. All our ignorance is connected with this. And if I am careless and have a wrong attitude towards this, you get all of this. And body consciousness is just this, all included. The broad term we are using, world of the body, just we are deceived by this camel. And the invisible prince is coming in this world of camel, playing the part of camel. But then it is body, the role, and here we are then in that spiral. It becomes extreme. Darkness, more the darkness, you are into that deeper end of the spiral. And that's why we said our big answer here, if the problem is darkness, in the darkness we can't win there. We can know even, we can agree, yes, like what happens in different religions. They might have commandments and they say this is wrong, anger is wrong, to steal is wrong, greed is wrong. They all know, whether religions or many institutions, they agree this is wrong, but they also cannot bring about a deeper change because in darkness there are no answers. Darkness, there is no power. You can't see, or even you come out of this attachment and go where? Now we hear this message, forget the body, forget bodily, what relations, come out of these bondages. Okay, forget the body and go where? Forget bodily relations and go where? You need the Paras perspective, understanding for this. When you are seeing with the Paras, you are seeing your world. If it is just the Paras vision or divine vision, we'll just see it is a sky. It is no difference seeing the sky and seeing this. But when you are coming here with intellect, you are seeing the home, not just the expanse of light. You are seeing You are seeing your form, true form, because the realization happens with the intellect. You are seeing your true family. You belong here, feelings of belonging here. It is the only place you belong. And it's a perfect reality, and you don't need anything else. You don't need to know anything else. That all becomes obvious. And now you are seeing this physical world as extra. When something is extra, it becomes a holiday and it becomes a game. If you need it, then it is not a game. Here you need nothing from that film. Camel and elephant, if it is cancelled, Mary can go home, do something else. There is no desperation there, zero desperation. And it remains extra forever. This moment, this whole box we are seeing here, it is extra. We don't need it. It is neither our world nor we need it. It is just like there is a cloud there. There is a nice cloud. If it is not there, it is not the end of the world for me. But I am happy to watch that cloud and nice. May even take some photograph, use it in some artwork. Okay, but it is extra. Then you have the right attitude towards this world. When we are approaching from Patthar, you are not seeing it as extra. You are drowning in it. And if it reaches the level where he thinks he's the camel, how can he just say, it doesn't matter what happens there, doesn't matter. No, he will get into all kinds of sorrows and vices and different sad, bad, mad. That whole department opens up when he is trapped in this box. Our practice, meditation practice, is not just relaxation. Relaxation will, of course, will happen if you are, so secure and so full, and if you are discovering positive universe, you will, of course, be relaxed. But what happens? You are creating light. You are coming into full light. You are coming out of this mess that is created in darkness. You see it as urgent. Baba sees it as very urgent. Every second, that's what we hear. No? Every second, why should anyone spend time in such a darkness and madness? And in that darkness, we commit sin, and there are penalties in it. Ravan, all this, we saw yesterday, mad, but there is a beggar there is a victim there, and there is slave there, all this. Why would anyone like to spend time there? So we see it as important, to come in the full light, experiment with this, and we are moving up. Every minute we are doing it accurately, we are coming up the spiral. We also saw, as you are doing this, light doesn't remain just for yourselves. Your attention creates light for others. We said earlier, the crowd, everyone else, their vision and their attitude has contributed to others going in this direction. We said this. If that is the case, then your attitude and your vision will help them come in the opposite direction. Yesterday, Sarah mentioned this. Know the power of your clean thought. This is a statement Baba made, last week, in the Avyakta Murli. And understand the power of your clean thought. That is the way it was said. It is translated pure thought. But clean thought is the thought, spiritual thought. Ravan doesn't create clean thoughts. So when you are seeing others with that clean understanding, their greatness and their truth, you are creating light. And in this light, it is bound to become easy for them to come out of this spell of darkness. So you are just a talk, and if, as we said, we can't win this war in darkness, someone can tell you, and you can tell people. It will, of course, it is creating knowledge and clarity that is necessary. But if you also see them with that vision, attitude, that language of the soul reaches the soul. In Baba's words, do avyakt service through your avyakt stage. Let us hear some thoughts from you, and that will be nice.
Yeah, there are a few questions. Is pain caused by the attachment to the body and the senses, or by attachment to our story? It's from the Spanish group.
Yeah, I think we touched this in some detail yesterday, but attachment to the body, that is right. But physical pain is because of our attachment through the sense objects. So body, it is like body is one thing, attachment, appearance of the body or something like this. But sense objects, that is what some Ravan's hates are involved in this, creating bondages. And so since that matter has given you pleasure, that matter will also give you pain. But we discussed it yesterday in some detail.
Is it okay to just connect with Paris as it's logical? Do I still need to connect to God, or is Paris intellect necessary to connect to God? Can I be at home without having to believe or have that yoga with God?
Sure. What Baba tells us, start from an area that you are comfortable with. If you feel soul awareness, you're so sure about it, start with this. Someone may say he absolutely likes the idea, he is the actor and there is a drama here. Start with that. Someone will say, home, I like the home, that is what I want to experience, peace. Start with that. And that will lead to other experiences. Once you start the journey, upward spiral, it leads to other things. One way or the other, if our attention is out of that box, that is a success. Patthar wants us to be thinking of the. Today, Baba used the word Soch Swarup, one who is the embodiment of thinking. One is thinking is one thing, that is not a sin, but one is caught in thinking. It's thinking of the same thing over and over again. So that is what is going on there. and he gets the title Soch Swarup, embodiment of thoughts. Ego will be caught in it, but Patthar, you have no other option. That is your world, and you just keep thinking about that world. So in such a situation, if you are able to take your mind out of this towards your alokik world, you are a winner. If you are able to remember the home, you are a winner. Yeah, whichever area. For some, God may be very natural. That's great. But for some family of souls, that's great. Start from there. And let it be hobby. Not just for 1 minute, 2 minutes. Play with it. If you are going for a walk, experiment with this. They are all the same souls who are here as travelers. With little attention, silent, try to come into those experiences, and that will nourish the soul consciousness in you. Many other things of the home will become easy. Supreme friend and father is a very important aspect for everyone, because in this scheme of things, he is the only one who is on the other side. Everyone else has crossed a line. In a deep end, having crossed the line, don't know that, don't know. So he is the one who is conscious. So with that aim, we progress. But there is no need to believe. Our whole foundation is experience, understand, know.
It connected to what you were saying about the crowd, and to really honor how you feel and acknowledge the comment. Nice and very helpful approach to start with getting out of the box. I was also thinking relationship with the father could be a different word, like comrade. One of the students was saying they like the idea of a comrade because it's like a war. I had one question when you said you don't need to know anything else. Somehow really like that because it's simple, but it seems contrary to this huge body of knowledge. If you'd like to expand a bit more, because we need knowledge in this game.
Yeah. It is nice state where you become free from this Soch Swarup, embodiment of thinking. You put a temporary hold to that, even thinking about home. Or some people say, I am experiencing it so that from that state I can solve some situations in her life. So this subconsciously people feel guilty not to be in that thinking speed. So here you are putting a pause to your thoughts. Nothing is urgent. Nothing is required. I don't need to know anything. And it helps you to go in the deeper experiences of that dimension. There is lots within us, you continue to experience, but we need that little space, to slow down the speed.
It's really helpful. Thank you. It's one thing is guilty, but compulsion into action. And we think that we need to do that to prove ourselves, as you said earlier, that we need the soul that doesn't judge himself based on the story. So yeah, So no other questions at the moment.
In the Murli today, these two words that were used in connection with, I will use the words Baba used. Soch, Swarup, embodiment of thinking. What was the other word expression Baba used? Contrast with Soch, Swarup.
Smriti.
Yes.
Swarup.
Yeah, Baba used the word Smriti Swarup. And another connected with Smriti, Baba used another word, Vismriti. So, of course, I will clarify what Baba is saying here. Smriti Swarup. Smriti is a function within us. And that broadly, the word awareness. And let me go into a little detail about this function. When to deal with body consciousness, we need to be Smriti Swarup. Opposite of body consciousness is Smriti Swarup. And awareness, we all have this function within us. And that is the function of awareness. In our mind level, we know there is a function of thought, there is a function of emotion, there is a function of memory. And most people, we can observe these functions within ourselves. Awareness is more hidden function. It is not a thought, it is not a emotion, but it's a hidden function. And even attitude is also a subtle function. Attitude, what is your attitude towards some country? It is not a thought, but it is a hidden function. You may have some good feeling towards some country, or you may hate some place. It's an attitude. You are not doing anything, you are not acting, but you are not even having emotion of hate at that time. But there is a deeper positioning. I'm friendly with someone and not friendly. These are attitudes I have. Awareness is again this silent function. It's more like a subconscious function that is going on. And this awareness can be connected with time. For example, right now you are asked what time it is. You will tell it is morning, evening. But you are not actively thinking of it, but that function is going on all the time. You are all the time aware. It is morning or evening or something. There is awareness of the place. You know whether you are in certain country, certain town, you are aware of it. Awareness of your relations, which family you belong to, your positioning with the society. So that your position, let us say, that awareness is there. Someone has a head injury and is brought to the hospital, and doctors want to know, whether he has awareness of time. They will ask him what time it is, and the patient might say, I don't know. Awareness of place, they say, I don't know. And as he recovers, he says, yes, of course, I am in such a place, or I was in such a place, I'm from a certain family. That awareness comes. As the person gets worse, awareness can be lost. Sometimes there can be abnormal awareness, and he's so sure. He's in a place, and he says, I'm in Paris, I'm in London, but he may be in some village somewhere. That these are abnormal, and that is like a condition, the abnormal psyche, abnormal mind. in this field, in this subject of awareness, still there is one more awareness. What is that? Do you want to tell me? In the this area, awareness for time, place, in a position, many other areas of awareness, there's still one more awareness. What is it that we are interested in?
That I'm soul.
Yes,
Presence.
but there's still another way to answer. Any other answer?
Enemy.
Okay.
Belonging. Truth.
Okay. Still one more answer.
Who I am. Who am I?
Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Awareness of who I am. This is another awareness. Who is I? And this function is going on in us in the background. All these functions are happening in the background. He's not consciously thinking. Thought is happening all the time. You know what you're thinking, at least. And you can be asked what you're thinking. But this function of awareness is happening in the background. You are not only when you yourself are questioning even. Oh, how come I thought this way, or how come I don't know? It can happen. Suddenly someone wakes up middle of the night, and for a few seconds he has no awareness of time, place, at least time, place. If he's in a foreign place, country, it takes few seconds before he understands, oh yes, I'm in a different city, or he may have a wrong awareness based on time, place. In the same way, this I, awareness of who I am, this is going on in us all the time. And this awareness is what Baba is referring to today with the word Smriti. Most of the time, the word Smriti is used with this meaning, awareness of who I am. And Smriti Swarup is when it is based on true Smriti. If you are the invisible traveler, then it is true Smriti. But most of the time, the Smriti is false. Idea of I is very much based on the body. What we saw yesterday. Anytime how do you define yourself? I'm male, female, young, old. This is your passport details. You are so convinced this is me. And we saw yesterday's, for some, it may be based upon position, based upon job. It can be any of these identities. For some, it can be based upon I'm the mother of someone. Others also treat you as a mother of someone. I'll give you one example. When one lady, her personal example, she herself, first person telling this experience, her mother had died, and 2 weeks earlier, so her mother had died, and she says, when I'm at home, I cry. I can't stop crying. And then during the day, she goes to work, and she says she's completely normal. When she's at work, does her job, she's completely normal, does everything completely well. When she comes home, she says, I just can't stop. I cry. And she herself is puzzled. What is going on here? How do you understand this? What is going on?
You might need to wait a few moments, but
Yes.
quite hard to explain. Shift in attitude. This one. And home reminds her of her mother. She is identified as a daughter. Different identifications, being the child, and depends what awareness is in charge. She needs to play a role in
Yeah,
that
very
situation.
good, very good. So some of you got the answer. Now, what happens is when she's at home, the identity, she has created this identity during her lifetime. I am the daughter of so and so. So she's in that Smriti during that time. Home reminds her of that Smriti. So in the background, all these Smritis are there. But there are some that come to the surface. That all are not active. Any one of these Smriti will be active at any moment. So identity based on country may be there, based on religion, but any one of them is in the forefront. And so when she's at home, that brings her identity of the daughter in the active state. And for this identity of the daughter, there is a complete destruction. The parents are not there. So she cries and cries and cries. And that mother is not there. It is like that is the world for that identity. When she goes to work, she is in the identity of being the manager. And manager, there is success and there is everything going well and the company is doing well. So there is different person as if, with that Smriti. And so then she comes home and there is the identity of the daughter takes over. To know this, in us, there are these identities, and the identity is a very broad word, but Smriti is a function that is going on, and they are brought to the surface. Some situations can bring it to the surface. If it is there under the surface, then only it can come to the surface. If it is not there, it will not come to the surface. And then whilst we are having all these ideas, other Smritis, that soul Smriti, there is nothing in this world that brings the soul Smriti. So it is buried deep inside. So they are into Vismriti, one who is, most of the time into all the other drama-based Smriti that is going on. That is like a state of Vismriti. In reality, he is unconscious. The real him is unconscious. Baba uses the word Smriti Swarup, one who is conscious regardless of the drama. Manager may be doing really well and everyone is praising the manager and you become the king, literally playing the part of the king, and there is coronation. But deeper inside, he will see this is all a stunt and he remains the soul. And the part is going on and mother is there, mother dies. That is drama, going on. Smriti doesn't go up and down based upon that. He remains, I am the invisible actor behind all this. Then he is in Smriti Swarup. And this is what we have to achieve. And now, to do anything like this, our strength is light. As we are emphasizing, in darkness, we can't bring about change. It all appears normal. A manager, of course, that is me, and he even actively wants to reinforce it, want some praise for that position. And we have already created things in the past. To remove them, we need to actively nourish the Smriti of the soul. Come in that awareness and support it. We saw certain company feeds wrong Smriti, crowd feeds wrong Smriti. Here we need to have earlier the question, do I need God? Yes. If I want that highest Smriti, true Smriti, He sees you. He doesn't see you by the camel or elephant or the manager. He sees you as an invisible prince. And with full, determination, conviction, that's the way he knows you. So that is necessary for that kind of company. And that this is like a long-term homework for us. This transformation from body consciousness to soul consciousness will not happen just by knowing the knowledge, because ego is very determined. He wants to survive. And we said certain our environment and everything around us, the factors are in opposite direction. They are the tide is downward at the moment. So you need to create this very clear program for yourselves where you are growing in this Smriti of the soul accurately. As you are doing that, then only the ego will become smaller and eventually they will go. But they need to be pushed out by the true Smriti. And this is the karmatit stage, final stage. So we got very little time for this. And but Baba also tells us, last go fast and fast go first. So some of us may be, very new also, but first go fast. That is another big secret in this. We have the option to go really fast, but there is, to create our own program, our own discipline necessary, and nourish the right side, nourish the true awareness, but also don't nourish the false awareness. And an active program, not to be friend of Ravan. Excellent. Let us hear some thoughts from you.
Something you mentioned yesterday, being a friend. So yes, a bit earlier there was a question. So this extra world is not needed, not useful, not true. It's saying you don't like the play because you can't get involved because everything is false and the purpose is to get out. So I'd rather not start again and again. Why do we come here? I mentioned in the chat the analogy of the player or the parallel, and a player wants to play and they also have a home. And we get tired at the end of the day, but in the morning we want to play, but they still feel, why come here? Do you have any comments?
Yeah. And this is a nice image of the player. Just like anything, if we said at the beginning, Cinderella drama is not bad. Ugly sister is not bad. It is neutral, we said. But our attitude, our confusion and darkness, ignorance, and in that state, Ravan, the ego, this is what is the problem. We see things upside down and find everything is wrong. That is the problem. So when we are upside down, we need to find a method to first become free from this Ravan. That is all. We are not having complaint with the story, complaint with the physical world, but we want to remove Ravan's obsession with it. Ravan has this kind of just like you've got a nice flower, Ravan want to crush it. He spoils the flower also, and he loves it, but his love is mad love. So he spoils things for himself, for others. You know, so we want to remove this Ravan factor. That's all. 100% of the effort is to get this out, come out of ignorance, and then let us see. Once we are out of ignorance, then we might find this is a wonderful flower. And in the same way that we might see that this is a great play. Not in future lives, here. Today you will feel this is a wonderful, this world, every moment is so wonderful, and this body is so wonderful. But let the soul see it, not Ravan. But then in our own time, we will have once we have the right attitude, we are seeing the things right way up, then we will be free to make a decision also. If we have a choice even. But we might feel that we are happy to come, we are happy to go, a bit like that.
It's nice to let the soul see it. It's something to reflect on. Why is this who am I question so important? Is it a reminder? And if so, what should I be reminding myself of?
Yeah, very, very good. It is a very important because that Smriti is going on. Function based on who am I. If I have a wrong understanding of place, we said Smriti, it can be based upon time, it can be the function of awareness, let me say. Awareness can be based on time, place. If you have got a wrong awareness of the place, it will create confusion. You will be in big trouble. You think you are in Paris, but when you are in some other place. If you go to work and you don't know who your boss is, who your clients are, it will create problem. If you got a wrong awareness of who you are, wrong understanding of who you are and wrong awareness of who you are, then it is as if we are working for the wrong I. And you think you are working for you, but you may be working for the enemy. And when you do realize, when you do wake up, you feel you're not just wasted your time, you created problem by working for the enemy. This is exactly what happens in our darkness. This is a very central thing. Who am I? That function itself is hijacked by Ravan. We said yesterday, people are worried about AI. What should we be worried about?
Shouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
But concern, maybe. Yeah.
So what should we pay attention to? What world should be worried?
Wrong I, SI.
Yeah, wrong I. The word we are using is false I. The world they should be worried about is, instead of worrying about AI, they should have attention on this false identity, because this false I, is ruling your life, ruling your mind, and has made the real you unconscious. It is like an enemy has hijacked the mind and the world. That's why Baba uses the word Ravan's kingdom. It is the Ravan's Raj, kingdom of Ravan. Because it is at this level. Who am I? You still use the word I, but it is false I.
Infiltrated soul software. Sorry, please continue.
I'd like to hear this software concept. This false I. It is like based on that are all our other functions that is going on, and normally no one is there to complain other than Baba. Baba is telling, look at this. This is the enemy is ruling your life and mind, and he's a friend of the true I. Yes, I want to hear about this software. Your thoughts?
There might be some computer programmers, but I was just thinking it's like the FI has infiltrated the soul software. But
Yes.
a computer programmer might have more clarity. There are a couple of questions, but shall we wait for after the rooms?
No, we can take the question now.
You mentioned about going fast. Does that mean long hours in meditation?
Accuracy is the most important part. And yes, incorporating in your life. And that life goes on. Baba likes us to be karma yogi, but incorporate the true Smriti whilst everything else is going on. But hobby to be in that space.
Accuracy will create the quality, will create the quantity as well. Is it only souls who are fully karmatit that reach the golden age or satyug?
Yes. To go to the soul world, we can't go there with AI or FI. We have to be in the truth. Anything that is slightly funny, it has to be dropped. Anything that is false has to be dropped to come out of to go to the soul world. And so this 100% drop of body consciousness is required for everyone, whether they come in the golden age or they come next, whenever they come. But just to go back home, it has to be 100% clean.
Yeah, thank you. So anything you would like to pose for room discussion question?
Very important for us is this subject of Smriti Swarup as opposed to Soch Swarup. Our experiences on that and how we have understood that function of Smriti, how we achieve the Smriti Swarup state. Swarup is embodiment. As we often mention, right now Prashant is talking. Prashant cannot become Smriti Swarup. It is only the soul can become soul conscious. So to reflect on this, what is this Smriti Swarup state?
Thank you. Just writing it up, written in English in case anyone's not 100% stable with the Hindi. Just the state of the embodiment of awareness of who I am. Or Smriti
Yeah,
Sadhguru.
because it is so, in English becomes twisted. I use this Sanskrit expression, and it is good for us to remember this.
Yeah. Sometimes it can take a little time to get a handle on it, but yeah. So we put the question in the chat. So if you want to take part in rooms, it's great if you have opportunity to have camera, if you've got enough bandwidth. And we'll see you back in just over 10 minutes. Thank you. Warm welcome. Nice to see everyone. I hope that everyone got a chance to share or at least enjoy the gathering. So just to create a moment to enjoy that introversion and experience on this subject for 1 minute. Thank you. So nice when everyone's focused and you can feel that atmosphere. So we're going to give a greetings to Sanjay, who's connecting from Israel. It'd be lovely to have you with us and hear any thoughts you'd like to share. Welcome.
Welcome and good evening or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for this opportunity. We had a nice conversation in the room. We just thought how to increase this Smriti Swarup, because we would like everyone else here, that it would be constantly. I mean, each second with that attention, whatever is happening around us is not taking us to somewhere else. We just want to be in that Smriti. So we were just looking about on those gamers that's spending hours upon hours in front of the computer, playing those games fully with the right Smriti to win those games. And it doesn't matter what happened to the character they are using with those gadgets. They might fall, they might come out, they might die, get alive again. They are having that Smriti of a gamer, and persistently they are playing, not giving up. On the other hand, and rightly and correctly said, they might get lost, and they probably get lost in the game, forgetting themselves, the real self, and might leave the body. There are mentioned few cases like this. So in a way, we don't want to be like those gamers, but in another way, to have that determination, that attention constantly on the right Smriti of who am I. Another perspective we looked at is the actor perspective. Those actors who know that they are just playing roles, enjoy playing, but never forgetting who they really are. And also in this, we know that actors can sometimes identify with their roles in a way that they will need a psychiatrist to get them out of that identity of that. So yes, the conclusion is Smriti, Swarup, the right one. Who am I? Just to practice every second, be attentive, as was said before, the going to rooms, as much as possible engage in each and every aspect of life, bringing this as a karma yogi whenever it's possible, whenever there is the remembrance to do that. So thank you so much, and Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sanjay. You always give the feeling of what you're sharing. And on the same lines in my mind, at least, this noticing, because this Smriti is affecting the way we see the world and also others, and it affects the attitude. So there can be useful ways, things to pay attention to in order to see where we're coming from, and seeing it like a game, isn't it? So there's attention without tension. I really like the way those words often come together. Thank you, Sanjay, and welcoming everyone back and handing back to Prashant.
And thank you to Sanjay. I know it is getting very late for you there. And yes, as Sarah said, useful analogies. Are there any questions, comments?
Yeah, there is an interesting question. It's a citation from Sakar Murli on the 22nd of April. I've also found it. And it says the incorporeal world and the subtle region and the corporeal world are all included in the drama. Drama is written in English. But you say that the incorporeal world is independent from the drama. Could you please explain?
Yes, sure. And it is in the context, what Baba is saying, that we know, Baba himself uses the word drama for the physical world, and the incorporeal world, Baba using the word home. But here, Baba is using the word drama as a complete, total reality. It is with that meaning. The whole thing that exists, it is a figure of speech. And drama, that is the whole thing. Baba wants us to be free from the drama. So you won't hear that expression, in any other Murli.
It's like the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, whole reality, it is with that meaning. At least that is the way I hear it.
Sometimes language is a bit limiting, isn't it? also English word with its own meaning sometimes. Brahma. So there aren't any other questions right now.
Sure. Just want to draw, since our aim is body consciousness, understanding, becoming free, and we understood our destination, and whether we like it or not, we have to be 100% free from our body consciousness. That we are using the word body consciousness, everything that is wrong in our original and eternal state. And we have the option to repeatedly come back to this. Maybe I'll ask you one question. What is the obstacle? What is the big obstacle in this you achieving freedom from body consciousness? Achieving, in other words, becoming karmatit, becoming fully. What is the obstacle in your effort? You want to one word answer or?
Ego, forgetfulness, body consciousness itself, fear, old habits or sanskars, realization or lack of, dishonesty, laziness, obstacles from the story, disbelief, not trusting.
Here, the one word I'm emphasizing in this, all answers are right, but the word I would like to emphasize, for me, the biggest obstacle is prashant. Not just a body, but the role, the entire role, the prashant is an obstacle. Because the ego, its focus is around the role. Ravan is absolutely, obsessed with that role. It is nothing to do with me. It appears me because it is Ravan's Ravan's role. That's why it appears to be me. But this role has become an obstacle to becoming soul conscious. So even as whatever you hear, you try to, as if at some level, at least part of the time, each one of you are thinking how to make the role, it to be neutral rather than using the word prashant. I like to sometimes use the word Harry, just as a neutral. Mr. Harry.
Except for someone called Harry, but at the moment no one is called Harry here.
No one is here with Harry. So there is a soul. Soul is playing the part of Harry. And now, there is a ego is, and Ravan, I'm talking here, all the heads of Ravan, their reference is Harry. They want to glorify Harry. And you will see that also in you, trying to make Harry spiritual, trying to see in what is the sort of progress of Harry. This is the way you are thinking. Where the soul is already there at the same time, perfect soul is already there. And Harry, we cannot never be able to achieve soul consciousness, or he will never be perfect Harry. That will never happen. But it is the obsession of the ego to make Harry perfect. Something going on at that level for us to observe. So, at least to observe this, that is the first step for us. we said, there is a double lock. So you are coming out of the one lock where you are saying that and there is a Harry and there is a soul that is different. You might notice that we try and avoid letter I for Harry, because that has become a completely normal language, letter I. And at least during the meditation, we have to avoid letter I anywhere in the meditation commentaries and your practices, because that letter I is very much hijacked by ego, and it blocks your experience, because we precisely want to remove the ego, and we are using the same letter I for the soul. So if you want to get this soul awareness right, during the meditation practice, keep it objective language. You hear sometimes the language invisible soul, not using the word I. That is not required. Invisible soul, invisible traveler is coming in this world. By doing this, what exactly happens is the new I is getting the chance. It becomes alive, new I. We saw that I is there, that point is there. We want to nourish that I rather than this I here, me. He wants to become more spiritual. That I is so dominant. So we want to bypass this. So using this objective language, invisible traveler is visiting here, is a guest here, is associated with Harry, is playing part, and Harry is there for temporary. Harry is part of the story. See objectively. Prashant is part of that story, not I. That letter I is confusing to our system. We are telling it is not I, and why this language of I? So you give yourself a chance to come in this place, and then this grows. Someone was asking, should we create more time in meditation, more time in yoga? I emphasize the emphasis is come in the soul awareness, accuracy there. Soul awareness at bypassing the ego. So during the meditation practice, objective language, that is one. And just touching another area, we got these 3 steps. That our whole situation happens in 3 steps. Raj Yoga life. First step is Harry. Let me start from here. Harry is studying language, goes through the course, and he becomes a student Harry. That is the first step. Second step, student Harry. We are talking about spiritual student Harry. He is having an understanding of the soul. He is concentrating on the soul, reading about the soul, but he's creating time to focus on the soul, seeing the soul. What is step 3? First step is Harry seeing Harry has become a student, spiritual student, which is very good. So from the Shudra, he has changed, he has become Brahmin. Second step, student Harry is now fully convinced. There is complete clarity about the soul. So he's seeing the soul. What is step 3?
Someone's written soul is seeing Harry. Becoming that. Soul consciousness. The soul becomes conscious.
Yes, the step 3 is the soul is now seeing Harry. That is step 3. Step 1 is ego-based effort. Body consciousness is, it is not possible. First, he has just come to the center. He wants to be soul conscious. Even step 2 is an ego-based effort. Harry, being me in that little film, that is me. That is what ego is saying. And that me, I'm seeing the soul. Because our starting position is body conscious, ego conscious. So he's seeing the soul. Step 3, the soul becomes conscious. Consciousness shifts. Soul wakes up. And soul that is conscious is now seeing that Harry is part of the theater. Harry is just one character in the theater. Sees absurdity, what the ego is doing, how the havoc ego is creating. And is able to understand his complete independence from the story and from Harry, from the whole thing. That film can finish, but soul is separate completely. That is step 3. These are necessary steps. We cannot bypass these steps. Step 1, 2, we cannot bypass. They are necessary steps. But what is important, step 2 is not our destination. If we see says Harry is sitting there, thinking about the soul and concentrating on the soul, but it is mixed. He may even say, yes, soul is me, but it is mixed with Harry. Then it becomes an ego-based effort. And you are still in the body consciousness. Not only that, body consciousness may be getting bigger because the nature of ego is to get bigger. Ego will not just stay there. Just like any animal that you see, it wants to eat more, constantly. You want to eat, you want to get bigger. And same happens with ego. Ego wants to get bigger, is actively looking for nourishment. And then you are in the spiritual life, and with Harry still in charge, and ego is getting bigger, it will create a complication. You feel after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there should be change, but some new kind of feelings coming, complications come, ego-based complications, comparisons come, the disappointments may come because you are at step 2. Step 3 is clean. When we are saying soul is seeing Harry, soul is understanding, at least during the seconds and minutes. Pay attention to the seconds. We are not saying this is forever a stage. No, for seconds, let it be clean soul who understands his complete independence from the whole theater. See how theater is different. He is different. His complete independence from the role. Role is different. He is different. Then he is truly progressing. Even if you create seconds, they are precious. Our aim is emphasis on quality. In Baba's words, pay attention to quality, quantity will follow. So you get attention on this clean soul awareness, create these minutes, minutes, you are a winner. Because in this state, many other things will follow. Because to understand even who God is, we start somewhere, but it is proportionate to your soul awareness, your experiences of soul awareness that helps you to know who Baba is. What he knows and what he feels, you will know proportionate to this. Yeah, I know it is time, but I will stop. I would like to hear some final thoughts.
It was really helpful to go into that, because I noticed in myself when you said role is nothing to do with me, like Harry, or in this case, Sarah, there was something inside that was, even knowing this, it's so shocking. But when we are really dissecting out the role, and in those seconds, everything becomes so simple, and the freedom. And the question came in the chat: is step 3 a relief for the soul to know the soul is not Harry?
Oh yes, absolutely. Because this soul is angelic, and soul is the prince. What we describe now, lucky and lovely and being of happiness and joy and love, in what Baba describes. Baba Murlis are directed to the soul. But Harry is saying, yes, give me more drishti. The ego there, give more drishti to Harry. He wants to promote Harry. Harry should sit in the front.
It's nice acceptance that the steps exist and we move through them, but it's not the destination to have step 2. There are 3 other questions, and just to mention,
Sure.
this is an easy one, I think. Can we say step 3 is becoming embodiment of Dharana, or becoming human?
It is a start. Embodiment means you are stable in that space. But here we create the experience and it will continue to grow. But we can say that you are getting the quality. One can definitely say you come into the experiences. Baba wants us to get the spiritual experiences. When it is mixed, the deeper experiences don't happen because ego is mixed. When it is step 2, things are mixed. Step 3, it is not mixed. That's why experiences will be guaranteed.
So why was this role, or a role, created? Is there a purpose? I think that's the question.
Drama, you are playing a role. You are associated with a role. If you are playing a game, you need to hold the bat. You have to use the bat. If you are in a theater, you have to be associated with the role. But don't cross the line. That is all. Use the bat, but don't start claiming the bat. Don't start identifying with the bat. You are associated with the bat. You don't need that bat when you are in home. So bat is there for the ground and remain clean.
Nice. What if the Harry role is not being played like a hero due to laziness or old habits, etc.?
That doesn't matter. That is a script. Some roles are of the Joker, some roles are of something else. That is, you pay full attention first to discovering the invisible, invisible prince. First discover that, and then you will understand even what the hero role is. Until then, ego has a judgment about hero role. It may be a hero role, but the invisible prince has a better discrimination.
And maybe one more question. When you were talking about that Merli quote, the subtle region, is it part of the drama? Because it only exists at the confluence age. If so, what is the spiritual significance? It's a different topic. It was just something that came up earlier.
But by very reason we say it is a separate world. There are three worlds. So drama, we use that word for the physical world. And that is one. Subtle region, we don't include it in the drama.
Okay, hope that helps. So there aren't any other questions. If you have anything you'd like to add finally.
All the best. It is such a very important subject for us to explore. Thank you. We collectively explored it together, and then it is now the homework for us. And Sarah, want to add anything? And you might like to create a minute of silence, some commentary before we finish also.
Sure, we do have a drill.
Sure.
But yeah, when Sanjay was bringing the analogy of the video game, and then you were talking about the separation of soul from the role, I felt this video game analogy or parallel is very powerful, because if you're playing with that character, avatar or icon, all you're witnessing by chance is a sequence. You wouldn't even call it, well, it's not your story for sure. It's just a sequence in that video game. And somehow this helped create that clarity of the distance. It's just you happen to be observing that set of pixels. So all of this is coming when we get the experience, but this separation is, as was shared, a relief. So yeah, enjoy your experiments, and thanks to all for contribution and questions, because it creates a really rich environment. So I'm gonna also share details of the next retreat. I've just popped that in the chat at a different time, so you can get the recording if it doesn't work for your time zone. So we're gonna wait a few minutes with a draw from Madhavan. Om Shanti. Thank you.